In some parts of the world, private security play vital roles in securing the society. And so in Nigeria, we want to take a look at the role the private security guards play to ensure that the society is adequately protected and of course, security of lives and property are enhanced. So today on the program that's talking about Democracy Watch, which I'll be beaming our searchlight on private security guards, the role and of course the importance in the society. I am Musa Toliat. Welcome to the program. The program will start in earnest after this timeout. Stay with us. Welcome back. The program is Democracy Watch, and today we have a seasoned security expert, of course, on the program to shed more light on the relevance of private security guards in our society. And I have the pleasure to introduce Dr. Bon Efoziem. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
He is security executive with Security Guards Limited, and of course, he is going to shed more light on the relevance and the role of private security guards in our society. So, sir, let's start with the fact that people talk about getting organized. For your subsector, that's the private security subsector, how organized are you?
Speaking about being organized, I think if you look at the Nigerian system, the business ecosystem, private security vendors have turned out to be one of the most organized of late. We have one, the government created a supervisory agency in Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. They are the government supervisory agency over all private sector security, whether licensed or individual private security. But now, in doing this, they are functioning on behalf of the Minister for Interior. So if we say we are being supervised by the Minister of Interior through Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Okay. Now, in addition to this, there is a body known as Association of Licensed Private Security Practitioners. And this is a body of all licensed private security practitioners nationwide.
Okay.
Why I need to express something here. This is a body set up primarily to work in the interests of members. But in the active functioning of this body, they have become more like one, a supervisory agent to the civil defense, a cohesive force helping to keep members in check, and also a body galvanizing the activities of all security practitioners. Now, in doing this, they work in collaboration with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. To such an extent that if you are a licensed private security practitioner, before your annual license renewal comes, you get clearance from this body. What that simply means, if you fall short of the guidelines of this body, you may be denied renewal approval. And when that happens, you're no longer a practitioner, or you are a practitioner illegally. That means they are helping the agency to checkmate activities of the members. And when you're talking about organization, it means that this body is functioning and can speak on behalf of the members.
Okay, when you talk about members who fall short of, registration requirements and then they don't get renewal for their operational license, so how do you check the activities when they are no longer part of the whole body of security?
Once they are no longer part of this body, the names of such companies are collated and compiled and submitted to NSCDC that have the responsibility and authority to seal up and stop functioning. So, such a company is sealed up, and if you're seen putting on their uniform or functioning on their behalf, the NSCDC makes arrest.
So are there deterrents? I mean, what is put in place in terms of trying to, create that discipline that they don't operate illegally when they're not part of the the body anyway.
Now, that's where the body comes in. The onus of submitting or helping NSCDC with information on such companies rests on this body. I, as a member, within Surulere, if I find out a company that has fallen short and the license has not been renewed, it means he is functioning illegally. I owe the association to report to the provost. We are even forming a task force that will be responsible for going around to find out these companies and these persons working on behalf of these companies, report to NSCDC, and arrests are made.
Okay, so much for the association. Let's talk about your collaboration with the Nigerian Police, and because it's very, very key in a democratic setting. So how is the collaboration between your body and the Nigerian Police and other security agencies too?
First and foremost, I want to deviate slightly from the question you've asked.
Okay.
To establish what I think in my mind should have been a topic of discussion. Why security is failing.
No, I think we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Do we have any form of collaboration between your body and police?
Very limited kind of collaboration, in most cases, based on individual commanders of these government agencies. If you have a DSS state director who is enlightened enough to know that these private guard companies and their individuals could be very useful to his services, he relates fine with you. If you have a state commissioner of police who understands the need, he relates fine with you. But I don't think there is a framework that mandates them on how best to relate.
Work together.
Yeah.
So that seems to be a challenge for your body.
It's a major challenge. It's all based on individual attitude to work, because there is no framework established on how best the relationship should be maintained. When you have a good person who occupying the office of a commissioner, a director, a DPO, an area commander, you find out your relationship is working out well. But originally, if there must be active security, if there must be effective and efficient security in any part of the world, there is no way the government agencies can do it without the collaboration of the private guards in the society. Now, Nigeria needs it the more because of the isolation of our government agencies by reason of barracks and other limitations. But the private guards are everywhere, mixing up with the populace, good and bad, meaning they are the people who are closer to the crime, to the criminals, to the good persons, and to the information needed for security. Now, why I say that the collaboration is not there, take Lagos for instance. There had been a law prohibiting the use of Okada riders. The people enforcing this law are these government agencies. On our platform of the association, I have not been a victim. I read a lot of our patrolmen who were arrested in uniform, riding the kind of motorcycle the Lagos State government permitted should be used, branded in the company's uniform, not carrying passengers as a way of showing they're not doing Okada ride. If there was this collaboration, the tendency is that such arrest and confiscation of bikes wouldn't come up. But I know that this collaboration doesn't exist. So I think what people need to begin to look at is, one, on our own part as an association, as a body, how do we collaborate with the government agencies? On the part of the government agencies, how do they establish a legal and an operational framework that will accommodate a symbiotic relationship between private companies and themselves? Not forgetting, we have the intelligence they need for almost every job they need to do.
Just like we talk about, the activities of the organized private sector, in the economy, we also need them in the security subsector as well. Okay, electioneering period is around the corner, and the politics is getting heated. So, what role are we going to expect from private security subsector? Because they definitely, like you said, mix with the community, and they also boost community policing as well.
You have just said boost community policing. Is it community policing on the press or community policing in practice? I think what Nigeria needs to do is to expand the functionality of community policing in practice. And first, as a phase, incorporate private guards as the front line of their community policing efforts. Then the tertiary line could then be the populace. A situation where information, look, when people talk about intelligence gathering, it sounds bogus. It sounds like something only the security men know how best to do it.
It's an abstract.
Oh, just an abstract, like you said. Most people do not understand that intelligence gathering is the job. Even you, the journalists, do more than the soldiers, do more than the policemen. What actually is intelligence gathering? Intelligence gathering, or intelligence in itself, that's why when you study intelligence, you see it being portrayed in a circle. Multiple circles. They call it intelligence circle. This means that intelligence deals basically with three things. And these three things can now be broken further into 6. What are those three things? Collection of data, analyzing data, and dissemination of data. These are the three basic things. Get information, analyze this information, and disburse this information to those who you think need them. Now, do the policemen gather this intelligence and the data right from the police stations? The answer is no. They need those men who are out there on the streets. Now let me ask, your station is not too far from here, but between your station and here, I am sure on your fingertips you can count the number of policemen, soldiers you saw. Exactly. But can you count the number of civil guards you met on your way coming? You cannot.
It's not possible.
Because virtually every building, there must be 1 or 2 civil guards, meaning nothing happens in that area without the civil guards knowing that this thing has happened. And don't forget something about intelligence gathering. And information you have today may be useless for today. But happenings tomorrow and next will now make that information of today to become the most vital information.
Provided it's well documented.
It's well documented. Then proper analysis will follow to know which aspect of this information is needed to investigate this case. A person comes to NTA, Tejo commits a crime, escapes in a 505. Now, the people who walk along Tejo as civil guards have the record that these 2 505 cars passed through Tejo to stadium. One went through stadium, the other one went back towards barracks. The brown one went to barrack, the white one went to stadium. The police in the investigation said, so we are looking for a white 505. It becomes a very simple thing. It means the 505 you're looking for is not the one that went to barrack, it's the one that went to a stadium. But because the policemen are not on ground, they can't get this information. They need those who are on ground. Now, who are those on ground? The civil guards.
All right, at this point, we'll go for a quick break. The program will continue after this timeout. Stay tuned. It's nice knowing that you're still tuned to NTA Lagos Channel 10 and the program is still Democracy Watch. And we're still discussing the relevance of private security guards in a democratic setting. So let's take a look at the electioneering period now. What role does the private security subsector have to play? Especially now that we talk about political thuggery, it's rearing its ugly heads again, and the people are getting scared. Voters' apathy will also step in if care is not taken. So do we have a kind of panacea that can come from this subsector?
Okay, I would say we should be talking about it in 3 stanzas. 1, okay, what role should the civil security play? What role are they really playing? And which are they supposed to play?
Okay.
Now, if you say what role are they playing currently, I can tell you there is practically no defined role they are playing. They are just soldiers of fortune. To the point that if Mr. A comes, pay my company, I give them my men to work with him, the Englishmen do say that he who pays the piper dictates the tune. There is no correlation between the private sector and the government agencies that will say, for this man you're working for, build a dossier and forward his data to us. I don't think there's any provision for that, which I think would have been the role. Now, if we say which role are they supposed to play. It should have been that they are the core force to mobilize data for the government agencies to work with. Now, I give you an instance. Almost all the political parties have their secretariats, have their offices protected not by government security agencies, but they hire private guard companies to work in these offices. The big politicians work with the policemen, but still hire private guards who man their houses and their offices. It should have been, if I have an arrangement with the government agencies, that information should be given to us through this channel, I should be able to call the channel given to me to say, I am working with this senator or this candidate. He has mobilized about 50 youths through Mr. ABC. This man is working with a particular, we all know that how this electoral violence are organized is through school cult groups. We all know that. Oh, this man deals with this particular fraternity group. He called a henchman. He has spoken to him. Meaning, if these people are going to strike in Oshodi, these are the group that are likely to strike. I have this information. Then, who do I pass it to that it will be confidential enough to protect both me and the people we are working for? There are some situations too where these boys, don't forget, we recruit predominantly youthful minds, young men and women, who fall within the same age bracket as those people they hire for all these electoral violence and some other vices. They all went to school, they all served together in schools, they know themselves. But these informations can only be passed around us as unofficial gist because there is no proper framework put in place that these informations should be channeled. What they had done is to make the security sector, the private security sector, function independent of the government agencies. Meaning whatever information you have,
you keep to yourself, which is not good for
an incident occurs in your location, rather than using you as a source of information, they arrest you as a suspect, subject you to punishment and pains.
That's another challenge.
That's a very serious challenge.
And it persists.
It has persisted and it has not helped the police unravel most crimes. What I think they need to do in this case is work with the Association of the Licensed Private Companies, create channels of data collection, and when they create these channels, for instance, this election, we are anticipating political thuggery. We are anticipating electoral violence. But don't forget, these things are not being done by spirits. These things a lot of times are not being done by people of my age. These activities are not being carried out by the politicians themselves. They hire younger people, youthful minds, pay them peanuts, and make them do their dirty bargain. Then what are the government security supposed to do? They are also supposed to coincide slightly lower, get people who they feel can easily interface with this level of young men and women, get enough information so that they begin to counter these things. But we have always failed. However, I don't blame the service policemen. I don't blame the serving men now. I am serving the framework upon which the Nigerian police was founded. Because the framework had been that which was inherited from the colonial masters, which was bound to be a reactionary force. We wait for an incident to happen, policemen will go there. Good. We should now begin to think of how to reorganize the entire police, create a new framework that will make the police and all other sister agencies to become proactive. We don't want people who will go into the bush to go and rescue kidnapped victims.
We need people who
will know that these people want to go and organize kidnap and engage them before they kidnap. Preempt their actions. Gather enough information and work with these informations before the crime takes place.
So in other words, when you talk about police reforms, that means these should actually be built into the police reforms we're talking about.
Yes, yes.
But it has never happened.
It has not. It has not. We should tell ourselves the truth. Let me even ask you one simple question. All the challenges we have been having in Nigeria, my people do say one proverb there, when two elephants fight, the grass naturally suffers it.
Yeah.
By the time they say send police, send soldiers, they are going to counter or combat crime. Has it solved any problem for Nigeria?
That's reactive.
By the time they are going to rescue these people and stop this crime, have you checked how many innocent persons lose their lives? Why not to begin to think, let us create such security and defense forces whose duty will be crime prevention rather than crime combating. We don't really need to combat crime. Look at most of the countries of the world where they say they have police states. Good, they could be like, oh, sometimes you arrest people wrongfully, you apologize and all that, but wouldn't it have been better than they say, they have killed people, we are looking for those who killed them?
And it gets unresolved.
How many has been resolved? It can never be resolved because we're not working with data. We are chasing shadows. In the church, if there was proper environmental protection, based on intelligence gathering, there is an unusual movement, find out who are those people, find out where they are going to. In my company, as little as it is, if I on my phone and show you, you see we have different platforms of my WhatsApp groups. The phones, mobile phone has made life a bit easier. You notice something in your area, you don't even need to begin to call to endanger your life that people know. Type, post on that WhatsApp that is expected to see that. The control room sees it. The control room begin to call the people in that area. Watch, so people are gathered in India, but it looks like there's going to be a riot and all that. Change your route. Don't take that route. This is what the Nigerian police platform or framework should be like. And when that is achieved, you will find out that whether election or no election, we don't have a problem. Unfortunately, our big men devote manpower and wealth and assets of the government to protect themselves. That is why you see that one minister is passing. There is a pilot car. There are about 2 other special escorts. Then finally there is an escort car at the back. All of them carry police, carry SSS. They are protecting one man. As soon as they pass, the next vehicle can be robbed. Because that entire environment is prone to attack, but only that person is defended. However, with proper information management, those number of men would have protected the entire area and no evil will take place. How does it work? There is this portal that every civil security man that notices unusual movement contact this phone number or send a WhatsApp message to this place. Good, people will abuse it. But then what they will do is go and investigate this case as quickly as possible and be able to resolve the issue before it metamorphoses into something terrible. Then it would have become proactive than the reactionary thing we're having today.
So the long and short of it, we need a framework that mandates everyone to work together.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's private security,
government,
police.
army, police, and so on.
So how do we go about it?
Good.
Concisely now.
I'll tell you something. Go to America. You hardly will say this is immigration, this is custom, this is NDLA, this. As you get to the airport, you hear Homeland Security. Who is Homeland Security?
Exactly. That's
a synergy of all. So why can't we? Let me even tell you what people don't understand. NDLEA, immigration, the police, the road safety, these things are mere duplication. EFCC, all of them. Why do I call them duplication? In the early 70s, there was a police desk they used to call Arms, Immigration and Alien. Then there was no immigration. This whole thing you're seeing are just creation of different governments. They were supposed to be departments in the Nigerian police.
Okay.
But today, all of them have become independent, functioning, secretive, no collaboration. Instead, they all see themselves as competitors. Because there is no framework that tells them or makes them understand you work as a together. Team. Today, you see a criminal has been arrested. DSS is trying to parade criminal. Police is trying to parade criminal. EFCC is parading criminal. Civil defense is parading criminal. Everybody wants to take the glory. Is that what security should be? Security should be cooperative. Everybody should be working to achieve same goal. And how is that done? By centralizing the command. I tell you of a truth. You can never have any kind of good security without a structure of command and control. So
that brings everybody together.
Okay,
it's at that point we're going to have to thank you, Dr. Bun Efuziem, for being on the program. It's been educative, it's been informative, and we have learned so much. And I'm sure Nigerians too have learned a lot as regards trying to build a preemptive, security architecture rather than the one that reacts when situation happens. Again, thank you very much, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Democracy Watch. be there for us next time when we bring somebody else, a personality who has the information that you need at his fingertips. My name is Musa Toliat. Many thanks for watching. Bye-bye.